Tonight, a storm is brewing in the South China Sea. Naval radios crackle with urgent warnings. Ships are told, be careful, danger is near. The world holds its breath as tension climbs in one of the globe's busiest and riskiest waterways. The news is urgent and dramatic. This is not just another day at sea. The South China Sea is the focus of global attention. Military ships, cargo vessels, and fishing boats all rush to understand what will happen next. Will there be peace? Or could we see the start of conflict? Tonight, every captain, sailor, and shipping company feels the pressure. This is a place where one wrong move could change everything. The world is watching, and so are we. Buckle up, here's what you need to know. Ships are being warned, stay sharp. The message is clear and urgent, echoing across the waves and through every radio channel. Crews on vessels of all sizes are on high alert, their eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of trouble. The tension is palpable as every mariner knows that a single mistake could have serious consequences in these waters. Change your course, if you must. Captains are making quick decisions, sometimes altering their routes at a moment's notice to avoid potential threats. The usual routines are disrupted, replaced by a heightened sense of vigilance and caution. The South China Sea is no longer calm. Once a predictable passage for global trade, it now churns with uncertainty. Storms, both natural and political, threaten to upend the delicate balance that keeps commerce flowing. New alerts have gone out on international channels. Maritime authorities are broadcasting warnings around the clock, urging ships to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activity immediately. Mariners listen closely, fearing what might come out of the mist. Every crackle on the radio could signal danger. The fog that blankets the sea hides not just the coastline, but also the intentions of those nearby. These warnings are not empty. They come from real danger. Recent incidents, collisions, near misses, and mysterious damage remind everyone that the threat is not just theoretical. Emergency drills are now routine, and every crew member knows their role if disaster strikes. Countries are sending more warships to the region. Planes fly overhead, radars scan constantly. The military presence is unmistakable, with ships and aircraft from multiple nations patrolling the same waters, each watching the other closely. Shipping companies are telling their crews, prepare for anything. Safety briefings are more frequent, and protective gear is always within reach. The mood is serious, as everyone understands the risks involved. Why now? The past few days have seen rising tension. News outlets around the world are reporting on the situation, and families of sailors anxiously await updates. The world is watching, knowing that what happens here could affect global trade and security. Naval ships from different countries have come close. Too close. Encounters at sea are becoming more frequent and more dangerous, with each side testing the other's resolve. Some have even exchanged warning signals. Light flashes and signal flags cut through the darkness, silent messages that speak volumes about the tension in the air. The sea feels like a powder keg, ready to ignite. Every sailor senses the possibility of conflict, and every sunset brings another night of uncertainty. The world's busiest shipping lanes run through this area. These routes are the arteries of global commerce, carrying goods between continents and fueling economies everywhere. Every day, hundreds of ships pass by, carrying oil, food, and electronics. The stakes are high, not just for the crews, but for billions of people who depend on these shipments. Now, those ships must move with caution. Lookouts are doubled, speeds are reduced, and every maneuver is carefully considered. The margin for error has never been smaller. The next few days could decide what happens next. As dawn breaks over the uncertain waters, everyone waits, hoping for calm, but preparing for the storm that could change everything. So, what has happened to make things so tense? It started with a standoff. Last week, a Chinese Coast Guard ship blocked a Philippine supply boat. The two vessels nearly collided. Shouts and warnings filled the air. Other countries saw this as a threat. The United States sent warships to sail nearby, showing they are watching. Soon, Vietnam and Malaysia spoke up. They too want to protect their ships and their claim to these waters. This is not the first time ships have faced off here. But this time, the moves are bolder. Each country is showing its strength. No one wants to back down. For sailors and shipping companies, this means more risk than ever. International groups have called for calm, but so far, the warnings have only grown louder. The world wonders, could the next mistake spark a real fight? Who is involved in the struggle for control over the South China Sea? The answer is not simple. This region has become a focal point for many of the world's most powerful nations, each with their own interests and ambitions. The answer: many powerful nations, each bringing their own fleets, strategies, and political goals to these contested waters. China, for example, claims almost the entire South China Sea as its own, drawing a sweeping 9-dash line that covers most of the region. Its Coast Guard and Navy are constantly present, patrolling the waters, monitoring foreign ships, and enforcing what China sees as its maritime rights. China has even built artificial islands, complete with airstrips and military bases, planting its flags and expanding its reach further into the sea. But China is not unopposed. The Philippines stands up to China, determined to defend its own claims and protect its fishermen and resources. Filipino leaders insist that parts of the sea, especially those close to their shores, rightfully belong to them under international law. Their navy may be small compared to China's, but Filipino sailors are known for their resilience and determination. They continue to patrol and assert their rights, even in the face of larger forces. Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Brunei are also deeply involved. Each of these countries claims different parts of the South China Sea, leading to a complex web of overlapping boundaries and disputes. All of them send their own ships and patrols, determined to protect their interests and show they will not back down. The United States is another major player, even though it does not claim territory here. America's powerful navy regularly sails through the region. The U.S. insists that these are international waters, open to all, and conducts freedom of navigation operations to challenge excessive claims. American ships often work alongside allies, showing support for smaller countries and reinforcing the idea that no single nation should control the sea. Sometimes, U.S. and Chinese ships come dangerously close, leading to tense standoffs that highlight just how high the stakes are. But it's not just governments and navies that care about these waters. Big businesses are deeply invested too. Shipping companies rely on these sea lanes to move goods between continents. Oil drillers tap into valuable underwater resources. Fishing fleets depend on the rich marine life for their livelihoods. All of them want safe, open sea lanes, free from conflict and disruption, so global trade can flow smoothly. But with so many countries and interests colliding in the same waters, safety and stability are never guaranteed. The South China Sea remains one of the world's most contested and closely watched regions. Every day, oil tankers, container ships, and fishing boats cross these busy and unpredictable waters. These vessels are the lifelines of global trade, carrying everything from crude oil to electronics and food supplies. But now, every trip is more dangerous than ever before. The seas themselves are rough, but the real threat comes from the growing tension in the region. Storms and high waves are just one part of the challenge. Now, crews must also watch for sudden changes in the political climate and unexpected dangers lurking just beyond the horizon. Warships can appear at any moment, sometimes without warning. Their presence can be intimidating, and even a routine patrol can quickly escalate into a tense standoff. Merchant ships must be constantly alert, never knowing if they'll be stopped or questioned. Coast guards from different countries may stop and search a ship, looking for contraband or checking paperwork. These inspections can be stressful and time-consuming, adding to the uncertainty of every voyage. With so many ships in a small area, even a small mistake could start a bigger problem. A near miss or a collision could spark an international incident, or worse, put lives at risk. For ship crews, the tension is real and constant. Some worry about accidents, while others fear getting caught in the crossfire between rival navies. The threat of being boarded or detained is always present, and it weighs heavily on everyone aboard. Imagine being caught between two powerful navies, unsure of who to trust or what might happen next. Some crews have already faced armed boardings, detentions, and long interrogations, all while far from home. Insurance costs are rising sharply for ships that pass through this area. Companies must pay more to protect their vessels and cargo, and that cost gets passed on to everyone. Delays are another risk. When ships slow down or wait for safer conditions, cargo arrives late, disrupting supply chains around the world. Changing course to avoid danger means longer journeys and more fuel burned. Every detour adds days or even weeks to delivery times, making it harder for businesses to plan and for consumers to get what they need. This can mean big money losses for shipping companies, importers, and exporters. The ripple effect is felt in higher prices and shortages everywhere. Some companies are thinking about longer, safer routes, even if it means traveling thousands of extra miles, but those routes take more time and, well, cost more. The decision isn't easy, and every option comes with its own risks. More fuel, more crew time, and more uncertainty all add up. The cost of doing business at sea is rising, and there's no end in sight. The risk is not only for ships and cargo. The people who work at sea face the greatest dangers of all. People's lives are at stake. Emergency drills are more frequent, and every crew member must be ready for anything, from accidents to attacks. Sailors work long hours in tough conditions, often far from their families. They face storms, mechanical problems, and now, the constant threat of conflict. Now they must add fear and stress to their daily jobs. The mental toll is real, and many worry about what tomorrow might bring. Every day at sea brings new worries, new risks, and new challenges. For those who make their living on the water, the future has never felt more uncertain. You might ask, why does this matter to people far away? The answer is simple. A third of the world's shipping passes through the South China Sea. Oil, gas, food, and electronics all move along these routes. If ships cannot pass safely, prices go up everywhere. People in America, Europe, Africa, and beyond could pay more for gas, food, and phones. Businesses might lose money. Jobs could be at risk. If a conflict breaks out, it could affect millions. Factories could slow down. Stores might run out of goods. Even airlines could be forced to change their routes. This is not just a local problem, it is a global one. That is why leaders in many countries are watching closely. No one wants to see a fight in one of the world's most important places. Imagine the scene tonight. The sun sets over gray waves, ships move slowly, lights blinking in the mist. On the decks, sailors keep watch. Every sound is checked. Is it just the wind, or is another ship coming too close? In the distance, warships cruise back and forth. Their radar dishes turned, searching the horizon. Helicopters fly low, ready to report any trouble. Fishing boats hug the coast, afraid to go too far. Radio traffic is busy. Captains warn each other of new patrols. Sometimes, voices are calm. Sometimes they sound scared. Everyone knows one mistake could cause disaster. This is life now in the South China Sea. The tension is real, and the risks are high. For many sailors, it is the most dangerous time they have ever seen. What could happen next? If countries back down, maybe the sea will become safe again. But if tempers flare, a small clash could become a big conflict. Warships are ready, and navies are watching each other closely. One risk is a collision at sea. If two ships hit, even by accident, it could lead to fighting. Another risk is a misunderstanding. One side might think the other is attacking, and fire back. International leaders are calling for talks. They want to stop a fight before it starts. But so far, no one wants to look weak. The world is holding its breath. For now, warnings stay in place. Ships take the long way. Navies stay ready. The next few days and weeks could decide the future of the South China Sea, and maybe much more. To sum up, the South China Sea is a powder keg. Ships are being warned. Navies are on alert. Tension is higher than it has been in years. The risk of conflict is very real. What happens here affects everyone, from sailors on the water, to shoppers in the mall, to leaders in faraway capitals. The world is connected. That is why everyone is watching so closely. The message tonight is clear. Stay tuned. Watch this space. Because what happens in the South China Sea could change the world overnight. For now, we hope for peace. But we must prepare for anything.